And we're live. Hey guys, welcome to tonight's episode of Whiskey, Wine, and Writing. I am your host, Natasha.
And I'm your other host, Nikki. I missed you guys so much last week. Tonight we have the beautiful, talented Elle McKinney. Say
hi! So tonight we're talking poetry. Yeah. Now I can't talk. Elle, it's contagious. She couldn't talk before.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. So we're talking post-pitch slam, which if you guys participated, this is going to be a great show to talk about what happened during and what's going on after. And we're going to get out, any misconceptions about why people may not have been chosen, because a lot of people tend to get down on themselves when they're not chosen. So, we're going to talk about why sometimes people aren't chosen, things like that. All the good, the bad, the ups, the downs, do some announcements like, Nikki, do you want to tell people about who's live tweeting tonight, actually?
Yes, you guys, we have a new friend who you should go follow. It's Suzanne Saman at, that's exactly her name. Just go follow her. She's retweeting and tweeting live our show. So we love friends who tweet, so make sure you show her some love.
Absolutely. And if you go to our website and you go under, I think it's contributors, there is an area where we are looking for some new people to help us out with Whiskey, Wine, and Writing. Staff writers, tweeters, all kinds of different positions are available. So go there, check it out, and fill it out if you feel like it's something you would like to be a part of. Sorry, it's not paid. We don't get paid either, though. So, but it looks...
The truth is, we just have so much love to give to the world, guys. We need some more hands to help spread all the writerly love. And we know that a lot of you guys want to get involved too. And the writing community is such a cool place. So why not just hop on the Whiskey, Wine, and Writing bandwagon?
Absolutely, and it's a lot of great experience too, because there are kind of like deadlines, and speaking with people who are sometimes famous, and all that stuff, getting them on the show, like Elle, because she's awesome. And
same one day.
So, Elle, let's talk about Pitch Slam. Let's talk about how that went. How did things go? How'd the rounds go?
It went really well. We had a lot of fantastic entries this time. We actually had more this time than we had the last time, and I think that had to do with us opening up the last round to, if you didn't make it into the first two, that's okay, go ahead and enter anyway. And we actually had, I was reading through some of the tweets of people who, and then blog posts, because people will post what I got from Pitch Slam or what I got from this contest, and I love reading those, so I go and I read them. So there were a few people who they weren't going to enter, they had heard about it late, and they didn't get in the first two, and then they only entered the third one, and then theirs got picked. And so it's like, well, if you hadn't entered, it wouldn't have happened. So
well, it always goes back to it's always worth taking that shot and entering the competition, because even if you don't make it to the final round, you still learn so much.
Yes, and it's that's another thing that was cycling through, because it was Pitch Slam. This contest season was jam-packed. I don't know if we lost more. I mean, and we actually got a day this year. Wasn't this year a leap year, or am I making it up? Anyway, there were so many contests, Pitch Madness, and then Nest Pitch, and then Pitch Slam. This is the first time where two of them happened at the exact same time.
Yeah, because
Nest Pitch did not plan them.
Nest Pitch was going on at the same time as Pitch Slam, yeah?
Yes, it was. I think we either opened the exact same day, or Nest Pitch started taking entries like 2 days later. And this was not something that myself or the other contest composer, we didn't email each other and say, hey, we're going to do this to cause mass confusion and worry or something. And
it just kind of happened that way.
It did. And so it's like, you know what? We're going to take a minute and see when we should try and do Pitch Slam, just so it's not pushed up against other contests, because I know it sucks to have to decide to do one or the other, especially if both contests have agents who've never seen your stuff before. And I know some contests, they say, well, if you have entered in the previous one, you can't enter in this one. So that's one of the things that we learned.
With Michelle Hawk, when she was doing Sun versus Snow, Samantha Fountain was doing her agent match or whatever it was. So but they didn't realize it till kind of after. And people had also, entered in both of those as well. So it seems that there are so many competitions coming up, and there are so many new people, trying to give writers opportunity for agents to see their work that, it's getting to the point where, everybody's going to have to start talking about the schedule so that they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be
some contests this year that are overlapping.
Sorry, Nikki, you lagged. What was that?
I said I've been comparing some of the schedules for this year, and it looks like a lot of contests are already getting into the overlapping pattern, which obviously isn't intentional, but just the pitching contest space is getting a little crowded on the internet. Not that it's a bad thing, but just so much stuff.
There's so much. Not it is bad, it is getting crowded. And I've decided that for my own personal, whenever I'm going to plan anything, and I did this anyway, but I usually go off, when is Brenda not having a contest? Because I can't compete with that, first of all, and she is like the queen, and when
amazing.
Not having a contest, I will try and squeeze mine in there somewhere, because her contests are amazing. I've entered her contests. I don't know a writer who hasn't entered one of her contests, either be it her blog or Twitter or something. So yeah, it's just, there's so much love, honestly, for wanting to help each other, and there's not enough months in the year. So maybe one of these days we'll have like a pitch slam, or not pitch slam, a writer contest, I don't know, meet out and say, okay, for 2016, this is the schedule. We are all agreed. Aye. So,
and guys, if you have any questions for Elle or for us or about contests and pitching and all that good stuff, you can tweet to us at Whiskey Wine Writing, or I'm sorry, I don't know why I said it like that, but we're going to actually say hashtag, because if you do it gets lost in our feed. Hashtag WW Writing. So feel free to hit us up there, or you can join us on the Google Hangouts Live, which you can go right through our blog. There's a link there. Click on it and come and join us, and we're happy to answer any and all questions, comments, and all that wonderful stuff. So if you happen to...
Yeah, we're talking about upcoming contests, writing tips, life after contests, dealing with rejection, whatever you want. We're here for you people.
Absolutely. So, Elle, how did your team do? I mean, how many entrants did you pick? Did anybody...
Oh my gosh, it was, behind the scenes was craziness. We only had 8 entries each, and that's because we had the surprise blog. It's hardly ever surprise anymore because it's there every time, but we had the surprise blog, and that had 8 entries. So I believe there were 6 times 8, and I have to math now, and it's never pretty, 45 to 50, right in there, somewhere about, where we had a bunch of fabulous entries, people that entered, and we could only pick 8 each. And it got virtually bloody behind the scenes. Like, people were making deals, and don't you touch that, and I promise we will have problems. And, making deals and on its trading manuscripts, multiple manuscripts for one manuscript, because each of us had that one where it's like, please, it has to be on my team. I know you love it, but I will, if we could only pick one, this would be it. And then that one got on our team, and then there was another one. If I could only pick 2, this would be it, So we fought hard for all of the ones that were on our blogs, and then we had those that we didn't have enough space for. Each of us started off with like yes and had to have it, and everybody had at least 15 of those each minimum. And so it got to the point where, and this is probably something to think about, is we had to cut because we had a number we had to have. So if I had an entry that they used a little bit less passive voice than this entry over here, then the entry over here made it, because I had to start looking for reasons to, you can't. Everything was fabulous. The themes were awesome. The premises were amazing. And it honestly came down to this word is misspelled or that, and that was the coin tosser.
Very minor.
Yes. And because it would honestly, I would hate to do, okay, so Tails, that's how you made it onto the team. And yes, an agent isn't going to turn you away for, having one word misspelled or having, missing periods or whatnot. But the first 250 words is not where it should come up. ever. That should be the most polished area of your entire manuscript because it goes through the most. So 50, 100 pages down the line, fine. But once we got into the nitty-gritty and we had to start paring back, that's what made the decision. It was the little stuff like that. And that's honestly the nature of the beast. And it happens in other contests that I've slush read for. So it can be those little things. So you have to do your due diligence. Look at everything. Look at every single sentence, every single word, because it's sneak in there.
Yeah, so, I mean, and that's, you know, like you said, everything was amazing, and when everything is really good, you have to come down to those minute details to figure out who's going to make it, because it's not easy. I mean, you just have to... Yeah, look at her, no.
It's not easy, and every one of the judges or team captains, directors, the names that we give ourselves every season, and the slush readers, we've all entered contests, we've all not been picked, we've all have been picked or for not reason and then didn't get any requests. So anything that did or did not happen, one of us experienced it at some point, or all of us, honestly. And it gets to the point where we want, if I could have, where I had to choose between 150, everybody was the same, and I did have to start flipping coins, then that means everybody did their job. Everybody did everything that we're supposed to do. You polished it. You went through the ringer with it, and, you know, because it gets down to that point where it's like I have nothing else to go off of, and you had back or that or one of the ugly words on the list in your 250, and this one over here didn't. You said was watching instead of watched. You know, I mean, it honestly comes down to that, and that's a good thing that your concepts and your ideas and the voices and everything, it was so strong this season. And so for it to come down to that, while it kind of, well, I'm not going to say it kind of, it does suck if you're not picked. To not be picked because you were so awesome that we had to look for reasons not to pick a manuscript, that's good. It doesn't sound like it, it probably doesn't feel like it, but that's a good thing. You know, you weren't behind on premise or anything like that, so.
Yeah, so there you go, guys. It's not that, you know, your writing's terrible or anything. It just comes down to the nitty-gritty and those little details. So that's definitely good to know. So is the agent round over now?
The agent round is officially over. We're not monitoring the blogs the way that we were during the days that led up to it. It ended on Friday. We extended it a couple of days because we had a lot of agents respond saying, I'm either going to be out of the city or I'm going to be out of the country, and I would love to, but the timing's off. So it was like, okay, well, you know, so we're not going to stick anybody on the official here are the people who are going to definitely be participating list, but feel free to ninja. So we had like 4 or 5 agents who ninja'd in, who would have, you know, if they weren't wherever they were at the time of making requests. And these people are amazing because they're like, I'm on vacation, but I'm going to sneak away and make requests, you know, something along those lines. Or I'm at this event here, but I'm going to sneak away and make requests. So, you know, that's one of the things that happened is, some agents have lives, they have jobs, they have things that they need to do. So we had lots of ninjas this time, more ninjas than we've ever had before. So that was a good thing.
Yeah.
But we do have some agents are still, like last year we had one agent make a request 3 weeks after the fact. So if a request comes in and it goes to one of the directors, we will let that person know.
Was there any particular target audience or genres that were requested, or?
It was primarily YA. And primarily middle grade. There were a few adults that did earn requests. We didn't have any picture book entries. I'm sorry, people who write picture books. I don't have any tiny people, so I don't read them, and I don't know what goes into one that would catch an agent's eye, so I wouldn't want to try and judge them. But it was mostly YA and middle grade, which isn't surprising because that's kind of how it usually lends, but that's just because, in my opinion, more people enter those categories and those age categories. So
right now, those age categories are also booming, no matter where you look. Like, yeah, that's the it thing right now.
And that's another thing is we have to take into account what the agents are looking for. I think I had more non-YA on my team this year than I had YA, and I had quite a number of adults that, stole my attention. There were quite a number of adult manuscripts across the board for all of the Pitch Slam directors. But we had to take into consideration what the agents wanted as well. So I guarantee you that if it was just what I like to read, the list would probably be different just based on subjectivity. The picks would have been completely different if we didn't have to take into account the trends and the agent wants, and because we research the agents, we go and we look at their wish lists, we look at the hashtag for the wish list as well. We research this so that we know we want to get entries that will have the best chance of getting picked as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It comes down.
And
there's
really,
so much that goes into.
Say again?
Sorry, I think I said it really is just so subjective too, isn't it? Because it's like, you're trying to guess what the industry wants, and each agent is different. Actually, I had a really great conversation with someone recently about subjectivity, and it was because they had CP'd for someone that they thought, oh, this needs a little more work, and that person not only got an agent but sold really fast, and so it's like it's so hard to guess what will do well or what won't do well because, I mean, it really is so subjective. There's no formula. People have tried to find it.
No, there's not. It'd be so much easier if there was, but there's just not.
It would be ridiculously easy, and I would win every single contest I was a judge in if there was a formula to figure out who's going to get the most requests.
That's never going to happen, guys. It's going to change on a daily basis. Like, it just is. The way the industry works, it's how things move, it's what's trending, it's what's the kids are reading, what's they want to put on in Hollywood, things like that, and that all comes into effect for what's gonna sell. So that's what it is.
Or it's because we take into account what we're gonna pick, and then the agents, and this is for any contest, being picked and put on a team is in no way a guarantee that that's gonna equal a request. Not never. We do our best to make sure that the ones that we pick will be requested, but just on my team, there were 2 amazing stories that I absolutely loved that unfortunately did not walk away with any requests this time. And I'm sure that there's an agent out there somewhere that if you were to pitch the exact same 35-word pitch and 250 words, that agent would be like, yes, mine, give it to me, nobody else touch it. So it's
that's just like querying. I mean, you're going to get rejections, and you're going to find that agent who wants to do it, or agents. It depends.
Very much so. And not getting requests sucks. Not getting picked sucks. But it comes down to is that these competitions, quote unquote, are not to shine a light on anyone's ability as a writer. They're not to shine a light on anyone's craft as a writer. Not being picked does not mean you and your story sucks in no matter of words whatsoever. Not getting a request doesn't mean that your story sucks. I've seen where agents will not request something in a contest and then say, just because I didn't request it doesn't mean don't query me, and then maybe the query pulls them in a lot further than the 35-word pitch, so then that agent winds up signing that person who didn't get a request during said contest, so it
could also just be a matter of tweaking your query too. We actually, I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but I remember talking to some people about it who were like, they're sending out 20, 30 queries at a time, and I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't send out big batches of queries. Send out small little bursts, maybe 3 or 4 at a time, and wait to hear back, because you might get a personalized rejection that might either tell you about your query or your first couple of pages. You also might get some form rejection, so your query is just not working at all and you need to revamp it. So the more agents you send it out to at a time, you're kind of scratching those off for 6 months if you get a rejection. Whereas if you do it a little bit at a time and you tweak your query you might up your chances of finding an agent to request or whatever. But if you don't put all your ducks in one bucket, okay? Just don't.
Totally. And sometimes it's more than the query too, because I did the whole revise the query thing like incessantly, just over and over again. I think the last one I had written before Pitch Wars, I titled in the file "Query Take 1 Million." And that one had a great, I tested it in a small batch, 5 people, because I heard that was the safe way to go. And I had a high success rate on requests, but then I got a lot of rejections on, hey, your beginning isn't as tight as it should be. And then I'm glad that I knew that, because I needed to go back and revise. I mean, if I had sent it to 30 people and they all read my crappy beginning, I'd be screwed, guys. Like, no, you need to really work at it and really see what's working, what's not. And I was so glad when I got into Pitch Wars, the first thing my mentor said was, hey, would you be willing to tighten your beginning? I was like, yes, let's do that.
All of it, all the words, yes.
All the words, let's just vacuum them and polish them. So
all the words. Yeah, it's never fun having to redo it all, but it makes it worth it. It really does. So, it's just one step at a time. Having people look over your query is also a must. Don't just write up your query, have nobody critique it, and send it out. Always have people critique it. Make sure they're writer friends who critique it, not like your friends who love your novel because they're your friends. Make sure it's somebody who is not going to be afraid to tell you this isn't working, this needs to be tightened, your stakes aren't clear enough. You need that now, so when you send it to the agent, it's as good as it can be, or you know where you want to take it.
I always say treat your query like you do your manuscript. First draft, no. Second, if you wouldn't send that draft of that manuscript to an agent, you probably shouldn't send that draft number for the query to the agent either, because it took you that many drafts to get the manuscript right. It'll probably take 3 or 4 as many, because queries are shorter and you can tweak them a lot more often than you can an entire manuscript. I'd say 3 times as many drafts as what you did. So if you're on draft 8 and you think you're ready, then somewhere around draft 28 for the query is probably when you'll be like, pay dirt.
I don't even know how many. I lost count. All I know is that I use Scrivener, which is great because I can make separate folders for everything, and I can just add little, basically spreadsheets if you want, or word processing, whatever, new docs. There you go. But I can add a new one each time in that folder without having to delete the last one. I can put them side by side and compare them, which I love that. I have them right there. And so it was like version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5, version 6, and it just kept going and going and going. And then eventually, I think once I got to 12, I deleted the first 11 because I'm like, okay, now I know I'm not going back that way. Let's keep moving forward. You're just gonna have so many drafts. It's gonna be insane. It really is. But, if you don't have a lot of people that who are really strong with queries, try going to agentqueryconnect.com. That is a great website to post your query on because people will comment and let you know what they think. I'm on there. I comment every once. I try to do one every once in a while if I can. And then, I know that Kara Nelson also does query critiques on her blog. And there is, of course, Query Shark. So those are places you can go through, read them, get advice, all that good stuff. So make sure you're getting advice on your query and, having other eyes look at it.
I think Al made a good point.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Sorry, guys, for the lag. I hate the internet. It's storming here, so that's probably what it is. But I was saying Al made such a good point on, as many times as you revise your book, you should give your query that same amount of time. But I think that's an important point to bring up, guys, is that sometimes people think, first draft is done, I'm ready to roll. So what is your guys' advice on, making sure that people kick themselves in gear to revise their books before just putting it out there to like 30+ agents?
My own personal thing is whenever I finish the first draft, I walk away from it. I know people are, always, okay, I'm done with it, now I need to edit it so I can get it out there. It's like, for me personally, I know if the story is, if I go right back to it and the story is still set as concrete in my head from when I was writing it, I'm not going to catch what I would catch if I walk away from it from a period of time. Because I'll forget parts of the story, because I'll go back and I'll read stuff that I wrote 2 years ago. I'm like, oh, I forgot that happened. That's really cool. Or, oh, I forgot that happened. That needs to go. Things along those lines. So I always, whenever I finish my first draft, I walk away from it for at least 3 to 4 weeks. And I edit something else. Or I'll give myself a break so I don't get burnt out or something like that. And then I come back to it because my eyes will have, the scales will have fallen off as it says. I don't think it's as amazing as, the first draft love, I suppose, the honeymoon phase sort of fades, and I can see it for, okay, this sucks, but that's okay. It's there, and I can tackle it. So first draft, there maybe has been one or two in the hundreds of thousands of millions of books and versions of whatever where somebody wrote their book, first draft, agent, fine, off to printer, publisher. That is the exception to the rule, and that person had a leprechaun in their back pocket. I promise you that, because that sort of that sort of luck does. I mean, that's what that was. Because it was an insane amount of luck. The stars aligned perfectly for that to occur. Mm-hmm. So you give yourself better chances, stars aligned or not, if you go back and you revise and you edit. Revision and editing are the best things you could do for your work. First drafts are messy and horrible, and they're supposed to be vomiting words onto the page, but then you go and clean it up and make it pretty and presentable.
I agree with Elle, except I can't walk away from it for 3 or 4 weeks. I walk away from it for like 3 days, and I'm right back on it. I'm just one of those people that when I'm on a project, I'm on a project. I can't walk away from it for a period of time. It does not work with me, but I'm kind of a workaholic. I mean, you can ask Nikki about how I'll be doing like 3 papers in a day for classes, especially right now because it's finals week, and then I'm working on the site, and I'm working on my personal site, and I'm working on my work in progress and editing my other one, and I'm one of those people who I'm on it and I have to be on it, and the second I put it to the side, I'm antsy. I'm like, no, I need to work on this because I don't like letting it sit that long. But when I go through my first wave of edits, I go through it and I look more for things that aren't working as a whole in the novel and any grammatical errors. And then I send it to my close CP partners. These are not beta readers. These are my close CP partners. And I'm like, have at it. And mind you, they're the ones who are going through it with me from the beginning anyway. And so they're kind of pointing me out week by week when we have our stuff of what's working, what's not working. So once I have it finished and I go through the edits, then I send it to them to read as a whole and not broken up. And then they can let me know, give me some perspective of what is or isn't working. It's just my process, and everybody has a different process. So, absolutely. And that's not wrong. Don't ever think your process is wrong. Just make sure that you are doing your process and making your manuscript as best as it can be before you send it to an agent.
Yes, and just like
you keep lagging. No. You start talking, but you only see your lip move. You don't come up with volume for the first few seconds. Go ahead.
I'm a failure, guys. I'm sorry.
You are.
What I was saying was, your process also changes too over time. So like even with Pantser versus Plotter, I was totally 100% Pantser a year ago. And then through my revision process, I've realized I do have to plot out certain things. I'm a hybrid. But I used to be more like you, Tasha, with I'm a workaholic. I need to write. Now I'm going to revise. And I was like that all last year. And then, Pitch Wars happened, and we revised twice during Pitch Wars. I got my agent. I immediately went into revisions. And then finally I realized I did have to walk away from it to get a fresh perspective because I had been so close to this book that I couldn't really dive in the way. And so, don't beat yourself up. Your process changes, you change, your writing changes and grows. It's all about going with the words. My brain just died.
I'm sorry, I pulled the this moment. Anyways, no, I mean, once I sent it out, I just sent edits back to my agent. I haven't looked at it since. She may have more for me, she may not. I don't know because I haven't heard back yet. But it's once I send it out, I don't look at it. I don't touch it until I get feedback and I know it needs to be done, which kind of gives me that period where I'm not kind of stressing over it. So I leave it. Yeah. So I haven't looked at it since I sent it back. I've been working on my work in progress and focusing on that. So.
No, it's been happening to me.
We did everybody.
We did it again.
Sorry, guys. I was saying what's been happening to me lately is as I'm walking away from it being I need to clear my mind or I need to wait back for notes, I'll start writing my work in progress and I'll be in the climax of my work in progress and be like, I know how to fix everything. Sorry, work in progress, I have to leave you behind now because I have to attend to my baby. And it sucks.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy sometimes when you're going through your editing, and like one thing happened and I was like, oh, I need to check with my agent before I pursue this, because that was like a huge change and it kind of came out of nowhere, and I was like, oh crap, but it wound up working out, so it's okay. But you know, sometimes edits happen like that and you have to go through and fix it, and I think the more you're away from it and the more you come back, you know, the more you do see what's not necessarily working yourself. So
and your process might change from book to book. Like the very first manuscript I ever wrote, what I do is my process now is completely different from what I did then, and then it worked for me. But that's another reason why I say when you start, you know, in the contests and you start querying and everything, start on another story. Some people say start on a book that has no relation to this book whatsoever. Some people are like, well, I have to do the next one because I have to finish it for myself. You know, whatever is good for you. I personally move on to a completely different series, and if I get sucked back into that other world, I might outline something. But you can't really learn your process until you see it in action, and you're not going to see it in action if you only do one book, because revising is a completely different beast from drafting, and the way you draft is going to be different from the way you revise, you know, because they are two two sides of the same coin, you know, but they are significantly different in there being two parts of a whole. So I didn't figure out what works for me overall until after I had drafted at least 3 books, 2 minimum, because then I knew myself and I knew what worked for me, and you need to know what works for you, and reading what works for somebody else, that'll give you good pointers on how to tweak what works for you. But that's always my biggest advice is you're entering contests now. If you're not in the midst of revising heavily, then work on something else. You're not going to know your process until you've fully experimented in that process more than once.
I don't even think I know my full process yet, because I still feel like I'm tweaking it as I go. Like, for instance, I was like Nikki, I was a full-on pantser. Like, I just full-on pantser. It was whatever happened, and now I kind of do bullet points of major plot points that I know want to happen, but not necessarily how I'm going to get to each of those bullet points, but I know X, Y, and Z has to happen in the story. So I have a kind of a basic outline, but it's not I can't do the detailed. This step is going to happen in this chapter, and this is going to happen. I stray every single time I've ever tried. It never works for me like that. I can do major. This is what I need to happen in the beginning, and then that'll work its way to X, and that'll work its way to Z. But what is going on in between those points, I don't necessarily know how I'm going to get to the next point. I just know I have to get there.
I totally have to.
I'll let y'all decide this time. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Alex. I'm failure at life. You go ahead.
All right. Welcome to Whiskey, Wine, and Writing, guys, where we talk over each other all the time. It's okay.
No, I'll start talking.
I'm not talking.
See? I'm not lying. All right. Elle, go ahead. You go first.
I forgot what I was going to say now, because I start talking and then I'll see that she'll start talking and then I'm like, oh, I need to shut up because she's talking. And then we stop talking at the exact same time. Oh, I was going to say, hats off to anyone who does plot out every single detail meticulously. You are incredible. You are an amazing machine of a human being, and my mind is not near orderly enough, and I envy you in that regard. I can maybe plot out 5 chapters at the most, and even then it'll get expanded because, like what you said, Tasha, is that I'll start, okay, so they're going to do this, and they're going to go off in that way, and oh, we're going this way now. Okay, it's sort of like being pulled by my dog on a leash. He wants to go down this hill. The trail's over there, but screw the trail. We're going to go this way, you know, so, and then you just go because that it happens. So I have the utmost respect for anybody who can plot and stick to it, because I cannot. No, I can't do it.
And Nikki, your turn.
Well, first, I just want to say I totally agree with you on that, too, because my characters kind of talk in my head, and then I'll be like, oh, wait, you want to do what now? I guess that throws off the entire plot. But the thing I was going to say was I love that you mentioned that it took you 3 books to really discover your process, because I really feel like, practice makes perfect. It took me till book 4 for me to realize I've been writing in the wrong genre. I always thought I was going to be a sci-fi writer, and I'm not really that good of a sci-fi writer, guys. I found out contemporary is more of my voice, and once I realized that, it really just opened up a door for me, and I was like, wow, I had no idea. What?
Yeah.
I was trying to tell you to stop because you were freezing, like you were frozen for a full-on 30 seconds.
What did you hear? What did you miss? I just thought I was speaking so.
No, actually, your voice came through fine, but you were like a frozen picture on the screen. So I was like, And so we do have Tiffany Hoffman here with us, who was the original host with me on Whiskey, Wine, and Writing. And she is here in the audience with us. So everybody say hi to Tiff at T.H. or T. Hoffman now. I don't know. She changes her Twitter so much I don't know anymore. I love you, but I don't know your Twitter anymore. I just know that I follow you and I see you. So
it's there.
It's there. So, but it is nice to see you. We miss you. We love you. Oh, and speaking of, Pitch Wars, which is how this entire show started last year, Nikki and I actually have a little bit of news about that, don't we, Nikki?
Woohoo! We are both mentors this year, but luckily we're different genres, so we can't fight. Yay!
Well, we're totally different age ranges anyway, so I'm going to be mentoring adults, and Nikki's going to be mentoring YA. So
awesome.
So yeah, that's definitely going to be a lot of fun, very interesting. We can't wait. We're both just like excited and insanely like, oh my God, is this happening? So
like, I want to grow up and be a mentor.
I can't believe
you grown up and started your own competition. That's what you did. Oh, and another bit of news is that Elle is actually going to be my roommate at RT now. So that's awesome. Yeah, because I guess, I don't know, if something happened with her old ones, and I was like, oh, well, we still have room for one more, and then it just kind of worked out. So yay! So, yes, so Elle and I are going to be together.
They are not prepared. They are not prepared.
Oh, I'll be fine. I don't know what's gonna happen when we get there, but because I with our other 2 roommates, but I'm all good. So
it's gonna be a party. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
Yes, it's gonna be a lot of fun at the convention, and then for Pitch Wars and everything else coming up. Because I'm also gonna be judging Query Combat, so it's like I have a lot of competitions going on here. It's definitely gonna be interesting. So
I'm doing writer's voice this year. I'm on with a team with Brenda.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! I'm very excited.
Yes, it's going to be amazing. So lots of good things coming, guys, and hopefully we're going to be able to, pay it forward, because we've had a lot of people help us out through our writing journey, and, people like Elle and Brenda and everybody who do these competitions. They're so amazing, and, being able to see what goes on behind the scenes, you would be surprised at how much work goes into it. It's insane, and Pitch Wars is August. So, and it's just getting the momentum behind the wheels now. So that tells you a lot of work goes into this. So, it's definitely not easy. But
2 months minimum preparation. Yeah, it's craziness.
Yeah. So.
But we love it. So.
Yeah, but if you can, make sure you pay it forward. Say thank you to the contest host, Elle and Brenda, and everybody else who does this stuff, because it's definitely not easy, and we're really grateful to them for doing it. And without Pitch Wars, I don't think I'd be here right now today. Now I'm a mentor. Like, I didn't even make it into Pitch Wars, by the way, guys, last year. So if you do enter and you don't make it in, don't think that's the end of the line. I learned so much that I wound up landing an agent, and I'm a mentor this year. So it's more than just getting to, picked. There's a lot that goes into it, from step 1 of polishing your manuscript and learning the pitch and the query and everything like that. And the networking you're going to do is going to be insane. Absolutely insane. You're going to love it.
What else is a great way to network? By joining the Whiskey, Wine, and Writing team. We mentioned it at the beginning. Gonna plug it again. Go to whiskeyWineWriting.com. and you can actually apply to be part of our team and write for us, or social media, or event planning, or whatever, magical unicorn writing, whatever you want to do, we'll work with you on it.
Magical unicorn writing.
Magical.
Yeah, if you're a qualified unicorn writer only. But I have to say, I've been recently, trying to like shadow Brenda and learn about contests and organizing, and I have to say, mad respect for people like you who can organize something like that and just do all the background things. Amazing. Bow down to you.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy. I'm sorry. Now I went Wayne's World. I'm clueless Wayne's World. I'm going into all the old movies today. I'm sorry.
I have my pitch slam team. I have Jamie and Kimberly who assist me in every waking world. I know I'm like, oh God, I'm at work. The day job is I can give everything. This needs to happen. Can somebody handle it? And they're like, boom, I got it done. So I definitely would be able to do this if it wasn't for the ladies who are backing me, and helping me facilitate, and then the amazing people, Laura and Michelle and Diana and everybody who helps just with the slush to go. I mean, from slush readers on up to directors, everybody is amazing. It really is a team effort. Like, if it was just me, Pitch Slam would not happen at all, ever. Like, no, because there's just not enough time. But all the volunteers and the help, it really does help a lot. And just...
It looks really great, too, guys, on your resume and everything like that. When you're doing stuff like that, that is stuff you can put on your resume. So, it looks really great. And, especially if you're trying to get into the publishing industry or, assist somebody in the publishing industry, stuff like that. It's really good stuff to put on your resume. So, speaking of, I'm going to do another incentive. We actually have gotten cards now for Whiskey, Wine, and Writing. So, the people who wind up working with us will be able to have one with their own names on it. How about them apples? So you want to work with us. So I'm just putting a little more incentive out there.
Business cards.
And let's just be honest, we kind of want new friends too. We like friends. We like cool people.
we love people, but yeah. So if you are interested in joining our team, again, go to the whiskeyWineWriting.com website, and under contributing, there is a little form where you can go ahead and decide which position you would like to apply for, and we'll go from there. So we will hopefully hear from some of you guys soon, and we can go from there. Holy crap, it's 8:43 already. So let's go to our What's Up With You segment. So Elle, what is up with you? Do you remember this? It doesn't necessarily have to be writing related, just anything good going on in your life. What's up with you?
I am in preparation to spend almost my entire calendar month of May traveling because I have a conference the first week in May, and then it's RT, and then Vegas the last week in May. I think I'm at home maybe 13 days out of the month. So that's what's up with me at this point in time, is getting ready to go on the road many places, and it's going to be awesome and exhausting, and I'll probably take the entire month of June off from life in general if possible to
next
recover.
Year, what we should do is a bunch of us for all these conferences, because conference season is basically like May through July. We should just go ahead and rent like a Winnebago or a camper, and then a bunch of us just sit there and we'll drive from conference to conference, and we can save on hotels and everything like that because we have our camper. So we'll just drive around for like 2 months in the camper and go to different conferences.
It's brilliant, first of all.
And stuff.
What? You froze again, Nikki.
I said I'll bake cookies or something. I like to bring the snacks on road trips.
Yes. There has to be snacks on road trips. Always snacks on road trips. But yes, we can get a Winnebago, and we'll call it the Whiskey, Wine, and Writing Winnebago, and it's all W's.
So we can do a national tour.
I'm totally down for that.
All right, we're planning this for next year, guys.
Donations for a Winnebago.
Like, start a GoFundMe or something. I don't know. I'm totally, I'll be a roadie. I totally will. I will pack things and unpack things. Oh, man.
It's going to be a party.
I feel like all my dreams come true. All my dreams come true in Winnebago.
So, Nikki, what's up with you?
Well, I had quite an interesting 2 weeks that were just, they'll end up in a book one day. They've been slightly stressful. So as a way to combat my stress, a coworker and I have decided we're auditioning for Shrek the Musical.
Wait, is that in your town? Are they doing the Shrek the Musical in your town?
Yes.
That's awesome!
Yes, small community theater.
Are they going to be like...
I've been told to go out for Fiona.
Watch?
What?
Are they going to be live streaming this? Can we watch?
Oh, I mean, I guess if my husband could hold up his phone and be like, "Hello, people." I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, I haven't auditioned yet, guys. I probably won't get it. But I'm auditioning for. I found I can audition for 2 roles. I'm going to audition for Gingy, the gingerbread man, and Fiona, because of the red hair. And I like to sing.
I was going to say you better
not very well,
Fiona, because you totally need the lead. You're going to take it over. It's going to be taken over. It's going to be amazing.
What's funny is I've been researching it a lot on YouTube, and in the musical, she's very, very bipolar compared to the actual child cartoon. Like she actually, there's a line in there about how she is bipolar, and she's like either or and so I'm really excited about that part. That sounds fun.
That's all right. So bipolar Fiona. All right, and I just realized that in the project that I have on the side right now, my main character's name is Fiona, and I don't know if I got that from Shrek or not. I just
wait. What?
Do you remember the book we're talking about, Making YA?
Yes.
Her name's Fiona.
Well, that's just such a fabulous name.
It is. I concur.
That I'll actually get. But what's up with you, Tasha?
Oh crap! What is up with me? Finals week is up with me. I have 3 papers due tomorrow, 2 of which are done. One I need to kind of finish after this. This is not due till midnight tomorrow, so I still have all that time. But so it's finals week, and then I have actually 1 final next week. I don't know why it's so late, but it's the only one I have after this week. And then I'm off for the summer from school, which just makes me happy. I got into the publishing and editing class I wanted to get into for fall, so I'm actually going to be putting together a literary magazine for my school. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, otherwise not a whole lot. My hair's a hot mess, which is why it's up. It did not want to work, so it's up tonight. So that's what's up with me. Yeah. Keep flattering me. I like it.
Everyone should tweet Tasha right now about how awesome and beautiful she is. Go.
You're crazy.
And tweet that too.
Anyways, but you're crazy. But yeah, no, this is like a disaster. So it's just up. I swim a lot during
which also
time of year. So the chlorine kind of it likes to kill my hair. So I'm going to see my guy at the beginning of May before RT, so I don't look like a total, just crazy frizzy haired person, which is like if I took it down now. So, oh goodness. So, if you are just joining us, we've been talking post Pitch Slam, other pitch competitions. Speaking of pitch competitions, guys, Pitch Perfect 2 is coming out, and they're taking over our hashtags. Just so you know.
I saw that. I'm glad that Pitch Slam happened when it happened instead of closer to now, because that would be interesting.
Well, I keep the hashtag in a feed on TweetDeck, and so it was like, yeah, Anna Kendrick and Cups and this and that. I'm like, wait, what? What does this have to do with Pitch Wars? Oh, right, Pitch Perfect 2's coming out. So, all the pitch competitions are now being taken over by Pitch Perfect 2 because they're using all those hashtags. So we're going to have to wind up coming through.
Yeah. Every single one. Pitch Madness, Pitch Wars, Pitch Slam, Pitch...
Somebody said Pitch Miss was taken. So I was like, really? They use Pitch Miss? Okay.
I guess.
So...
we actually have a question from someone, if you guys are interested.
Never. No, we don't answer questions here. No, I'm just kidding.
We love questions. I mean, we're almost over, but if you guys have questions, hashtag us, WWWriting. This question is from Leslie Ann Boyden, and she says, "I'm terrible at cover letters. Currently working on one for a real job. How formal should this be?" Because cover letters and query letters are very much similar.
Is she talking query letter, or is she talking about for us, for our?
I'm going to assume. Let's just assume for us. It could be for a real job. But yeah, I think that as long as you're professional, but still your personality, it should be okay. Don't be like, hey, what's up, bitches?
Yeah,
that would offend me a little.
Definitely not. I mean, have fun with it. We want you to have fun with it and be creative because you're a writer, but, we just, like she said, be professional. It doesn't mean you have to be boring. Just, make sure everything is spelled correctly and all that stuff. And, show us what you got. Put it out there. So I think that's pretty much what we're looking for, is to hear your voice.
Let's apply that to query letters, too, since we were talking about that earlier. How formal do you guys think query letters should be?
I think that at the end, if you do at the end, like, this is my novel, this is how many words, please don't put stuff like, you'll regret if you don't represent me, or, so humbly yours. I mean, I really think that part needs to be professional. And also, guys, they know that the full manuscript is available upon request. You don't need to put that. They assume that you're querying them because your manuscript is ready to go and polished. So, I mean, that's not necessarily a professional thing. That's just kind of a redundancy thing that you don't need to put in there. I would say be professional and, be like, thank you for your time. And sincerely, don't put, so humbly yours, I love you, kind of crazy stuff, because that's probably going to turn an agent off to you. Also, don't be like, I look forward to hearing from you, because that's kind of presumptuous. So I think the more professional you keep it, the better.
I think some of it, if you're looking for quote-unquote wiggle room, it would depend on if you've met that agent previously. Like, if you and an agent, wind up having drinks at, like, a conference, and you talked about that one thing that's, can be put in a query letter, nothing that's should be left in Vegas type stuff. But say you guys shared a funny story that you both had dogs that did something crazy and tore something up. I don't know. You can mention that and, be friendly in that you sort of have that in, but still maintain professional. This is not your bestie that you're writing to, so you can't be like, well, just because I spoke with that person or we had dinner that one time, I can write them and be like, sup, dog, that sort of thing. No. Hey, remember that one time? Yeah, that story still makes me laugh to this day. I was glad I was able to talk to you. That sort of thing. You have that connection you can make, but again, it's not your best friend.
Like, don't presume to know them having never met them.
Yes.
Because people are like, well, based on you said that you want, heart-gripping things like that, I have a feeling that you are going to absolutely adore my manuscript. Okay, you got the first part right. I saw on your manuscript wish list you're looking for this type of novel, so I wanted to submit mine. Don't tell them they're going to absolutely adore it and love it and things like that. Keep it professional. Be like, I saw you were looking for this, so I wanted to submit this to you. The more professional I think the better when it comes to that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just going to look better for you.
I think an overlooked professional thing, too, for queries is you can actually include, your website, your blog, your Twitter handle, things like that in your signature. And I've heard agents really love that. So that's something that I think, go for it. You might not think about it off the top of your head, but it can make a difference sometimes if an agent wants to stalk you on the internet, which they do.
Yes,
they do.
And yeah, actually, Nikki was the one who, because I originally, when I had sent her my query, I had it like in my last thing. I was like, yeah, I'm the host of this show. Here's my blog. Here's my Twitter. She's like, just put that in your signature. It'll save you space. I was like, oh, that's actually a perfect idea. I don't know why I didn't think about it before. So, but yeah, I think it's cleaner if you just kind of put sincerely your name and then, your website and your Twitter and your Facebook and all that stuff. Just list it underneath. So it's going to keep your query a lot cleaner anyway.
And even if you don't include that stuff, do keep in mind that if your Twitter is not listed in your query letter, but you do have a Twitter, the agent will find that Twitter and might make a decision based on what you do or don't tweet. People say all the time, be careful what you put out there, be careful, any ranting or any, negativity. Whatever happens with contests and with queries or pitch sessions, not getting picked and not getting requested absolutely sucks, but you will shoot yourself in the foot if you get on your blog or on Twitter and talk about how everything about this absolutely sucks and what's the point and why don't I do this anymore, and it sort of leaves
actually, people who bashed some of the mentors last year publicly.
Yeah.
I would not suggest doing that, and I'm not saying that obviously just because I'm being a mentor. It just looks terrible. I mean, if you're not getting your way and you go publicly start bashing people, an agent will see that, and they're not going to want somebody who's going to sit there and throw a hissy fit because something didn't go their way, because they're going to wonder, at that point, you're their client. If you do that as their client, how is that going to reflect on them? Mm-hmm. So, you know, you always have to think about maintaining a professional air when you're on social media. Everything you say, everything you do is going to be documented. It's just how it is. So, you know, if you're upset about something, it's okay to be upset about something, but don't go online and start bashing people for it. It's just, I mean, it's not right to begin with, but it just looks worse.
Yeah, the publishing industry has a very long memory, and the internet has an even longer memory. 5 years down the line, you know, your book is published and whatever, someone might pull up that time where you decided you were just going to go off the rails about this, and now you're not only being considered by agents, but readers, oh my gosh, she's batshit insane. So, you know, that sort of thing happens.
I think sometimes people forget that blogs are public diaries, like, it's not a private one. People are going to read that. If you want a private diary where you can vent and nobody's going to see it, get a handwritten one. I still have handwritten ones so I can put my own vents, frustrations, and everything. Because I'm human. I do have, you know, I get upset, I get angry, I get frustrated, I cry, I do all this stuff. But I have my personal journal for all that stuff offline where I don't have to worry about it being hacked or people seeing it. It's mine, and it's my own personal thoughts that I don't want the world to know about, you know, because, again, we're human, and yeah, we're going to get frustrated and pissed off, but venting and bashing people about it, it's not the way to go.
And don't think we're being overly cautious either with the whole, you know, agents actually do look into you, because I know it might blow your brains being like, what, an agent would look into me? When I had my call with my agent, one of the first things she said was, oh my gosh, I read your blog about loving your slow cooker. I love my slow cooker too. So she read my blog about slow cooker. It happens.
So yeah. My agent,
oh, sorry, go ahead, Al.
No, my agent, she, when we had the call, and she goes, oh yeah, and that story that you mentioned, and that story that you mentioned on your website, send them to me, like right now. And okay, you know, I didn't expect for that, you know, I expected to go see that I tweet and all that stuff and read a little bit, but to go that far, I mean, but they will do some digging, because this is not only you signing on to them, this is them signing on to you. It's a partnership, you know, so it goes both ways, and having the negative feelings is not bad. That is, no one's shaking their finger at you, or, you know, you are allowed and welcome to be angry and upset and hurt. It happens. We all have felt it. The reaction is what will garner a positive or a negative light. Feel bad, go cuss, scream, talk to your critique partners in person, not only, you know, via blog or Twitter or anything, and just keep face. You know what I mean? You're not going to run around cussing out your boss at your day job in the office. Consider the internet your office. That's where you conduct business. That's where, you know, you send emails and such. That's the office. These behaviors are not allowed in the office.
Nope. And, you know, and also, you know, you're kind of building your platform, and, you know, you do want to have that backing, that public backing as you're going into this career, and you want it to be a positive backing. You don't want it to be negative, like, you know, some people who have, you know, done crazy things and it comes out, and then, you know, you have this whole campaign against you because you couldn't be professional. I mean, people in the writing industry, from what I've seen, we tend to have each other's back. So if one person is going off the rails and going after another author, we're going to be like, wait, no, hold up. No, because this is a hard industry, and, you know, we want the best for each other. Even when we're mad, frustrated, and upset, we want the best for each other. So attacking each other when something doesn't go your way, it's not an environment that would be good for anybody.
And I want to jump in really, really quickly because I know that we're running out of time. But somebody tweeted me, yes, that is a Sephiroth wall scroll. That is the last thing I see before I go to sleep every night, and I love it.
Yum. But yes, we are at the end of the hour, and per usual, it is always awesome having Elle here with us. She is absolutely amazing and has done so much work for the Pitch Slam competition. So guys, if you were a part of it or you want to check it out, you can go to her website, which is leatricemckinney.com.
LLMcKinney.com.
LLMcKinney.com. Sorry, see, my bad. LLMcKinney.com. You can go see everything there, and on Twitter, she is at @ElleOnWords. I know we don't have her name tag up today, but at @ElleOnWords, ELLE on words. Yeah, so go talk to her, say hi. She's always happy to talk to everybody. And just remember to thank your contest creators, the people who are putting this all on, because it is a lot of work, and they take a lot of time out to do all this stuff. So people like Elle and Michelle Hawk and Brenda Drake and everybody else who does it that I can't even think of off the top of my head, thank you. You're amazing. And next week, we'll be back Monday. Don't ask me who's on. I don't remember at this point. It's finals week. Leave me alone.
We've had work weeks, guys, but we are booked through starting to book July. If you do want to be on our show or know someone that you'd want to see on our show, you can also contact us through our website, whiskeyWineWriting.com. And also, before we go, I want to just give another shout-out to Suzanne. Thank you so much for tweeting tonight. If you guys are tuning in and following the feed, go to our hashtag WWWriting, and you should go like and follow her because she's been awesome tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Suzanne. And you guys have a wildly creative night, and we will see you next week.